Hello students, so let's begin a new poem, A Legend of the Northland. Right, so legend means old traditional story, okay? These word meanings are given at the back side of the textbook. So anyway, this poem is about an old lady, okay, who angered Saint Peter because of her greed. So what happened one day, Saint Peter, a disciple of God, isn't it? An apostle, disciple of God, came to this old lady place because he was hungry, okay? So he came to her place to ask for cakes, but the old lady was very greedy. She could not give him a cake, okay, or a food. So Saint Peter got very angry, and then he transformed her into a bird, a woodpecker at the end of this story. So this poem is a ballad, ballad, B-A-L-L-A-D. Here, ballad means a song narrating a story in a short stanzas, okay? So this is a song narrating in the story in short stanzas. Students, please remember this word ballad, okay? B-A-L-L-A-D. Okay, so this poem is written by Phoebe Carey, okay, and this the poet, or you can say the poetess, okay. She was an American poet, and she is a younger sister of poet Alice Carey. And then the poet, she died in the year 1871. Right, now the main idea of writing this legend, okay, is to know the students here, or is to know us the value of kindness, generosity, and charity, irrespective of who the person is. Otherwise, in our life, one will have to face the consequences. Yeah, so one must understand the value of kindness, generosity, and charity, but not greedy like an old lady, or else one has to face the consequences, the result. Okay, so students, as usual, please get ready with your pencil. You need to underline some of the words, and I'll give you the words meaning. And please open your textbook and go along with me. Now, I'm not going to read out this word by word, okay? Just to save the time, I'm going to explain to you the first stanza here, all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah? 4 lines. Okay, so if you want, you may please write down the word meaning away, away. It means very far away, okay? And in the second line, hours of the day, which means daylight hours, yeah? And here, cannot sleep, because the place nearer to the polar region, nights are long, and so they were unable to sleep, okay? Long hours, all right. Now students, listen carefully. I'm going to explain you this all together. Here, the poet, okay, or the poetess, yeah? Let me say poet, introduces the place where the story is derived, okay? Northland. It's describing about the place, okay? The location, which is in Northland. And here, the poet says that the days are short and the nights are longer in winter. And it's very difficult to sleep for so many hours in the dark throughout the night. Yeah. So nights are longer, okay, in winter, and difficult to sleep. Finding hard to sleep. Yeah, they cannot sleep through them because it is near the polar region. Okay, great. Let's move to the next stanza. Where they harness means tie, T-I-E, tie, okay? T-I-E, tying with a rope, isn't it? To tie, okay? And reindeer is a deer found in the cold region, isn't it? And here, F-U-R-R-Y, furry means made of fur, okay? F-U-R for made of fur. Okay, so here in the second stanza, the poet continues to give a description of the people of Northland, okay? She's describing about the people of Northland. She says that when the snow falls, snow falls, the people there in the Northland like sledging, so they bring the reindeer to the sledges, okay? and the little children wear, you know, heavy woolen clothes, isn't it? Woolen clothes that make them look like a little, you know, bear cubs in baby bear, right? So the children looks very, I mean, they looks like bear cubs, baby bear, because the children were wearing heavy woolen clothes. You might have seen even in the movie, right? Sledging, you know, tie the reindeer and then with a rope and then, you know, sledging, okay, when it snows, right? And they were, I mean, riding like a horse, rain, okay. Quickly, let's go to the third stanza. Okay, they tell him a curious story to that, and if I tell you to tell to you, okay, T-I-S, tis. Tis is the short form of it is, okay, I-T-I-S, it is. And tell, T-L, tell means story, right? S-T-O-R-Y, story, okay. Now let me explain quickly. Oh, it's a very long poem, yeah? Very long ballad. Okay, here in the third stanza, the poet informs, okay, how the elders, okay, tell their children strange and curious stories. You know, although the poet, she doesn't believe the story that she had heard as a child, but still she's, you know, feels that she should narrate, okay, she should tell the story. Nonetheless, it had a very, you know, good message for us. So here she is describing about a story, isn't it? And she doesn't believe the story that she heard when she was a child, but still then she feels that she will share, you know, narrate the story to other people because it has a good message for all of us, yeah? It's all about story, okay? The curious story that the elders used to say, tell to their children, okay? Next stanza. Okay, once went a good Saint Peter, okay, just as he did, you know, okay. Please read it by yourselves, students. I'm trying to save this time, okay. Here, in the fourth stanza, okay, once, okay, then she begins to tell the story, okay. The poet begins to tell the story, okay, that one day, Saint Peter lived on earth, and he traveled around the world preaching the words of God. So once upon a time, right? One time, okay? Saint Peter lived in this world, isn't it? And he traveled around the world, walked around the world, preaching about the words of God, preaching about the Bible, right? You know, Saint Peter is word meaning given in the next page. He's one of the 12 disciples, right, of God, yeah? Disciple, okay, or apostle, okay. Let's go to the next stanza. So he came to the door of a cottage, and turning around and back them on the earth. Right, students, if you want, you may underline this word cottage, but you know that, I'm pretty sure. Cottage means a small house made of wood, right? W-O-O-D, it's a small house made of wood. And the last word, hearth, means it's a fireplace. Fireplace, okay? I'm going to explain now. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, fifth paragraph. So, while, you know, preaching the words of God, while, you know, Saint Peter was preaching the word of God around the world, he reached the door of a little cottage, okay? And a woman who was baking cakes on her fireplace. So he reached the cottage of a woman, okay? This old woman that we're talking about, the old woman. And at that time, the little woman, okay, was making baking a cakes, okay? Them on the fireplace, okay? Next, and being faint with fasting, okay, to give him a single one, to give him a single one. Okay, underline these words, being faint together, okay? Being faint, 2 words. Being faint, it means feeling tired and dizzy, okay? So Saint Peter was very, you know, tired and dizzy. Now here, in this stanza, the poet says the condition of Saint Peter, okay, when he came to the little woman cottage was very bad. And you know, his body, Saint Peter's body was pale, and he was tired, and he was very hungry too. Okay, after a long day, isn't it? Fasting for a long day, so he was so tired and hungry. So he stopped to ask for a piece of cake. Okay, from the ones he had already baked, and that was kept on the shelf. So cake that has been already made by a woman, and it was kept on the shelf. Okay, so Saint Peter came to ask a cake from this old lady because he was very, you know, tired, fasting for so many days. Yeah, no, he's very hungry now. Okay, that's it. Let's go to the next page. Store, you know, store means stock, isn't it? Which is kept in the shelf. Okay, next page. Wow, very long poem, right? Very long ballad. Okay, so she made a very little cake, too large to give away. You underline this two word, give away means donate for free. Okay, giving donation, yeah, charity. Okay, donate for free. Okay, so what happened here in this stanza? The woman, okay, or she started to bake a very small cake, but before giving it away, she stopped to think whether it was very too large to give away for free or not. This shows that she's very greedy, very stingy, right? Okay, she started baking the bread, the cake, but before giving it to Saint Peter, okay, she looked it whether, and she just wanted to know that whether the cake, the size of the cake, is too big to give away for free. Okay, she has a doubt. Very stingy woman. Okay. Next, therefore, she needed another, and then at last, the first had done. Okay, underline this word, needed, students. Needed means molding, M-O-U-L-D-I-N-G, or, you know, shaping, okay, S-H-A-P-I-N-G, or she say making, okay, so molding, shaping, or you may use the word making, but molding or shaping is much better, yeah. Okay, so therefore, what happened? The old woman started to make smaller and smaller cake, okay? But each time she felt it was as big as the earlier one before, see? She started making, you know, smaller cakes, okay? But then what happened? Every time she made, okay, it appears to be bigger and bigger the earlier one. Okay. All she wants is to decrease the size of the cake, but instead it was increasing, okay, growing bigger and bigger. Okay, next, then she took a tiny scrap of dough, and then, but she could not part with that. Okay, tiny scrap means, you know, a very small piece. Okay, and dough means cake mixture. Okay, it means cake mixture of cake. And here the word third and wafer, W-A-F-E-R, means thin slice, T-H-I-N, thin, S-L-I-C, very small pieces, yeah, very thin slice. Okay, now what happened here, okay? At last, or finally, okay, she made a wafer thin, very thin, okay, cake from extreme small scrap, okay, small lump of this dough, cake, okay, mixture of cake. But even this, she could not bear to give for free, okay, she could not, she part with that for free, okay. She made a very small, a tiny cake. Still, then he could not part with that. She could not give it to Saint Peter. Very stingy. At last, she faces the consequences, right? Okay, let's go to the next stanza. Here in this stanza, okay, she said, or she reasons that the cake seemed small when he made it for her own consumption, okay? His own consumption, the cake seems to be very small, but it seems too large, too big, okay, to be given away for charity to a stranger. All right, so what happened as a result here, she ended up keeping all the cakes on the shelf and leaving St. Peter hungry and faint as ever before. So she did not give even the small piece of cakes to St. Peter, okay? So she kept all his bags, okay? baked cakes on the shelf for himself. Sorry, for herself. So he could not even give away, isn't it? For charity to a stranger. So he ended up keeping all these baked cakes, which is already baked, on the shelf, and leaving the Saint Peter hungry and faint as ever before. Okay, let's move to the next stanza. Well, it's a very long one. Then Saint Peter grew angry, was enough to provoke a saint. Here, provoke means angry, okay? To make someone anger, okay? Saint. Okay. Here, this stanza describes, Saint Peter's reaction to the woman. What happened here? He gets, Saint Peter gets angry because he was hungry and weak, right? And it is very difficult, that it's very difficult to, anger a saint. But this woman, succeeded in doing so by, her, inhuman behavior, okay? So this is about the reaction of Saint Peter, okay? So he got angry by the inhuman behavior of this woman because she was very greedy. Okay, students, next here he said, "You are too selfish to dwell." D-W-E-W. Dwell means to live, okay? L-I-V, live. And and fire to keep you warm, okay? Here, Saint Peter calls this woman a very selfish woman, okay? And therefore, she doesn't deserve this comfortable, lifestyle that had been granted to human beings, right? Like, we need house for shelter, right? We need water to drink, we need water to clean, and food to eat, and also we need fire to keep us warm, to keep them warm. But Saint Peter said, since she is a very selfish woman, she doesn't deserve all this comfortable lifestyle, okay? She doesn't need food, shelter, nothing for her, because she's very selfish, right? And of course, at last, Saint Peter cursed her, right? And turned her into a bird. Okay, woodpecker, okay. Let's go next. Now you shall build as the birds do, by boring, and all the day in the heart, dry wood. Okay, students, here, boring means, making holes, okay? To make holes. Woodpecker, they make holes with its beak, right? Dry wood, okay. The wood is very hard and it's dry, okay. Here, scanty food means all these worms and insects, okay? That will be eaten by this bird, woodpecker, okay? Now let me explain. So here, in this stanza, okay, Saint Peter cursed the little woman, okay, and deprived her all her comforts, okay? Saint Peter took all her comfort in her life, and he cursed her. He said that she will have to build her own nest, okay? Bird's nest like a bird, and dig big holes, digging big holes into where? Into the hard woods, a dry wood, okay? To get scanty food, to get these worms, insects to feed herself. I hope you are clear. Okay, let's move to the next stanza. Then up she went through the chimney. Chimney, right? A place where smoke comes out, which is on the top of the our roof. Okay, remember what? Okay, first she was changed to a bird. See, out of the top flew a woodpecker. Woodpecker, right? Okay, here what happened here? Soon after that, the woman was seen going up the chimney of her house, speechless, without speaking a word. Okay, speechless. Okay, and a woodpecker could be seen flying out of her chimney. Now she has transformed from a human being to a bird, a woodpecker. Okay, and this through the chimney, the bird flew out. Okay, without speaking a word, speechless. Okay, next page. Wow, finishing just 2 stanzas here. Okay, she had a scarlet cap on her head, underlined scarlet cap. Cap means hat that you put on her head, right? Cap. And flame, the last word, F-L-A-M-E, flame. Scarlet, it means, this is the color, okay? A bright red color, okay? So this is red hat, color of the cap is red, okay? Bright red. And flame means, of course, it's a fire, isn't it? Right, this stanza, okay, describes how the woodpecker get its red cap. I have seen woodpecker. You might have seen too. There is, if you look, you will see or you'll find a red cap on the head of the woodpecker, right? The red color. See, because the scarlet cap, okay, this red color cap on her head was left untouched, okay. Well, the rest of her, woman's clothes were burned to ashes, okay, as black as coal in flame, all burned into ashes. And you can see the bird's head was still the same shade of the red. So what happened at that time, okay, the greedy old woman was wearing a cap, okay, red cap, whereas that was untouched by Saint Peter. So that red cap is transformed into a scarlet cap, which is on the bird's head, okay, and the rest of her clothes, everything were burned into ashes, okay. Great, last stanza. And every country schoolboy she had seen in the wood where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring for food. P.O.B. Carey. Here the last stanza, okay, the poet says that every countryside, okay, boy had seen the woodpecker. Of course, you might have seen, even I have seen, right, if you go to the countryside, okay, woodpecker in the woods, digging holes into the bark, bark on the cover of the trees, searching for his food. See, even today, yeah, boring, okay, making holes, searching for his food, insects and all, okay. So if you go to the countryside, you'll find, if you go to the jungle, you'll find a woodpecker, right? P.O.B. Carey. You'll find even in pine trees, okay, or just, pine tree, right? You will see your woodpecker in a pine tree too, making holes, yeah, for food, searching for insects and all, okay. So ballad is a song narrating, okay, read it by yourself. I have told you it's a song, okay. So as I've told you before, the main idea, okay, the central idea of writing this legend of Northland, okay, the poet wants to know the children, okay, the students, the value of kindness, your generosity and charity, okay, irrespective of who the person is. Otherwise, one will have faced the consequences because of her. So we need not to be greedy, yeah, humanity, right? So because of her inhuman behavior, she has faced the consequences, yeah? She has transformed into a bird, okay. All right, here is your homework for today's students. Question number 1. What have the children been compared to? Question mark, why? Okay, 2 questions. Question number 2. Why was Saint Peter tired and hungry? Question mark. Question number 3. What happened to the cakes that woman baked for Saint Peter? Question mark. Last question. Why did Saint Peter curse the woman? Question mark. What did he turn her into? It's quite easy, yeah? 30 to 40 words are submitted before 5 p.m. today itself. Glossary, just go through it, and this text, you're thinking about the text I've already given, okay? Don't forget to study one more time. You need to go through the textbook, okay? Alright, students, that's all for today. I'll see you in my next class. Thanks for being with me again. Till then, bye. Take care.